Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. Sorry I was a few minutes late. I went to hit the button to start the stream and I realized that the camera wasn't on. So I don't know if it just wasn't working all day and I didn't notice. I didn't really have OBS up until a few minutes before the stream, so I wouldn't have known. But anyway, everything should be working now. And let me move this over. Oh, let's make that bigger. And now I'll move this over here. And this should work now. There we are. And I'm going to paste the ngrok link for you all. There we go. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is go over some changes that I've made. So I've been doing, I don't know, like a decent amount of work on this myself over the last day or two. So I want to make sure we're all on the same page with where we're at and what I need to do. I'm going to fill you in on how my presentation went yesterday. So for those of you who are first-time viewers or just maybe haven't seen that much, in this show I show my day-to-day work as a front-end developer for a small university. So there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be interruptions. So it's not exactly a tutorial. It's just my everyday work. This is what I do, and I don't prepare anything, and I don't try to make it look any better or worse than it really is. So, having said that, we're working on a site, and this is going to be the main website for the university. It was supposed to launch by the end of this month. We were on a pretty good track. I think it was going to be, I was going to have to work late, probably for a week or so, but I think we were going to be able to launch with the minimum, that we needed. But some people higher up have decided that we're not going to launch then, that I need to meet with a bunch of different people all over the university, present the site to them, and get some feedback, and then launch at some later date to be determined. So I don't even have another date yet. I did the first of those meetings yesterday. It was okay. I think, I didn't get a standing round of applause, which I didn't really expect to get anyway. But I didn't really get negative feedback from anyone. So there were some features that they seemed to like. The speed, they liked the speed. I had ngrok up and I let everybody load it on their phones so they could check out how it looks on a mobile. And what else? They like the ability to go in and edit. So I actually went into WordPress and showed that particular department where in our WordPress installation they would go to edit their own content. And then I showed them how easy it would be. And so I think they like those features. So not bad. Wasn't a really big presentation. It was just one small department. And there are actually some people missing from the presentation, so it was even smaller than I thought it was going to be. We're talking I don't know, maybe 7 people, if that. So some of my other presentations will probably be bigger. My next presentation is going to be a big one. I'll meet with all the bosses, all the vice presidents and stuff, and I'm going to present it to them. So having said all that, it was kind of a big intro. This is where we're at right now in the project. We've kind of put everything else on hold, and we're trying to make this site look as nice as we can for some certain key pages, so that when I present it, it looks as finished as possible. Even though we know, in the background it's not finished, we don't have all the data migrated. So before each presentation, I'm going to hand pick certain pages and certain pieces of data. Even if we have to hard code them in, it doesn't really matter. we just need to make sure those pages are ready. So for yesterday's presentation, I made sure it was the student life department. So I made sure that the student life page had all the data on it, right? Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have worried about that page till later on down the road, but that's how it's going to go. So I'm going to have to determine what content would be best to have on the site for this next presentation for all the, you know, the VIPs, the vice presidents, and so on of this university. So I'm not really that worried about it, surprisingly. But I know, you know, other people were kind of nervous that are going to be in the presentation with me, so I do want to do a good job. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to make some components to try to clean up this home page, because that was looking, it was huge, right? So I've already begun to do some of that, and as we go through the code, I'll show you what I pulled out and what components I created. And we're going to add a section here. So we're going to add a little section that's going to be full width and pretty much just text, but it's going to be a little bit of explanation about what this university is about, what the mission is for the university. And that's going to kind of introduce students, prospective students are the main audience. So they come here, they're going to see maybe not this picture. I just put this picture in to try it out. Let me know what you all think. The last picture I had in there was a landscape shot, and the head of my department didn't really like that picture. So now I've decided to go with a shot of actual students. See if I kind of prefer that. I think there's kind of a connection when you see a person's face, and this is kind of nice, right? Everyone's smiling. It seems like, I don't know, like, hey, people are happy here. I don't know. Let me know what you all think. I really want your input on this. I've been going through pictures. In fact, like the first half hour I was here this morning, I just spent the whole time going through images, trying to figure out what to put in here. So we're going to try this, and as the student scrolls down, then they're going to get a little bit about the mission of the university, and they're going to have we're going to put a button in there that's going to let them go on to read more about that. The university actually has this gigantic like mission and vision statement. It's huge. But anyway, then they're going to come down and they're going to see more of this, and my boss wants me to have more like this where we actually say what the content is. So instead of just having a card that's just an image or just a video, we're going to have, you know, titles there. So it's going to say, I don't know, basically what this video is about or what this is an image of, and we're going to add some more profiles in there. So we'll get as much done as we can in about an hour. I do have to go and pick my kids up in about an hour and 15 minutes. I have to leave for that. So I'm just going to keep that in mind. And I just realized that I don't have any music going. It's because I restarted my computer. All right. So I can't possibly code without my music, right? All right, cool. So I am getting some feedback on the images and on the new thing. So let's start with that, because that's the first thing we could probably work on here. Hey everybody that's saying hi. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Chris says, love your videos. Thank you for the hard work and the time you put into them. Oh, no problem. Thanks for saying that. I'm happy that that you enjoy the videos. So Saad says white text on white background is hard to read. Yeah, I think so too. I did darken it. So I put, let me show you how I did this. Where's my, and I can introduce you to a component that I've made as well while we're doing this. So I took that whole hero section and I made this component called hero. So now on interior pages we could pop in this hero component if we want to, and other pages can have hero sections. So I here's how I did this. I actually put an inline, Where's it at? Hero. Oh, okay, I split all this stuff out. Where's our actual return? There's our actual return. Okay, so because I wanted to be able to pass a prop that's an image URL, that's why I'm doing the style here in line. But I've added a linear gradient first. So the background image can take multiple things as what the background will be, and it just stacks them on top. So like the first thing you put in will be on the top, right? And then after that, it'll just layer. So you could put in multiple images, whatever you want. So in this case, we started out with a linear gradient, and I just put the same two values for the linear gradient. So normally it'll go from one value to the other like gradually. Well, if you put the same value, it's just an overlay basically of all the same color. So in this case, we just did black, but we made it transparent. So it's only about 20% right now. So that's what I tried to do to make it a bit more readable. I'm open to other options, but this is something that's standard that can increase readability no matter what image we put in there. So I like it as kind of a standard thing for this component to be reusable, but I'm definitely open to doing something different, especially for the home page. So, and this component has a lot of props to it, so it's not ideal right now. Let me get rid of some of the stuff I was working on that I'm finished with, so I can show you. Let me know if the font needs to be larger for this. So here's that hero component, and there's a lot in here, but this is using every single option that the component has. So if you leave out some of these, the component will just render differently. So probably most of the time when we use this, we're not going to use all the options in there, so it won't be so huge. But for right now, it's just a lot of stuff for one component. But still takes up a lot less space than the actual code for all that. So anyway, yeah, I agree that this is hard to read. One thing I am going to do is I would like to increase the font size for this line and for these buttons. Hopefully that'll make things a little bit easier to read. So we can mess around with that here. To make these inverted buttons, I also had to make another component. So I guess I should just show that component now since we're at that part. I made this inverted button component because what I found was that you couldn't change the hover color. There wasn't an easy way to change the hover color using the Material UI button component. So I wanted to keep using that, but I also wanted to be able to change the color. So here's what I did. I went into the repo for Material UI. I completely copied everything in there for their button component. I changed the paths so that they would work, because these paths were relative paths before, assuming that this was located in the node modules folder. So I changed those out, and it's really simple. Anywhere that had a // I just replaced the .. with Material UI. So down here where we have our flat secondary button, because this happened to be the buttons that I was using on the hero section there, I changed the hover background to white, and then I added in a color to this green color that's the official green color for the university. And that allowed me to have this effect while still using the button component. So it's actually kind of cool. The only problem with this is that as Material UI updates, it could potentially break what's going on in here. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. It may not be the final solution, but as I said earlier, we need solutions that are going to work fast for the presentations, and we can always come back later and fix them. But for now, this is kind of cool. It works, and it gives us complete control over these buttons to do whatever we want. So you see there's a ton of options here. So I'm a little bit excited as we go on to kind of go in here and just figure out more about how Material UI works, like the internal stuff that's hidden away in the node modules, and try to change it a little bit. So I think it'll be fun. But anyway, it did solve our problem. As you can see, we're going to have to use it for this as well because we don't have the right color here. So we're going to have to change this. I don't know if we'll do that today or not. We'll see. I added in a new logo. So my department head wanted to have this logo, especially on the desktop. But as I was looking, this works as long as we don't add anything here, which I don't plan to. This does work. The only thing I'm worried about is on a really small screen. But if it checks out and it works even on a really small screen, we might keep it. That's too big. Let's go on. This iPhone 4 is tiny. Yeah, see, it doesn't work on the smallest screen. So we're going to have to do something to switch out for the other logo. So like, let's go big again so I can show you. So like this version of a logo. So we'll switch that out. But otherwise, this logo is okay. I probably need to make it a bit bigger. But those are pretty much the biggest things that I've changed. Like I said, I've done some work with interior pages. Let me check out some of the other suggestions that we got right off the bat. Someone says Steubenville with an exclamation point. So G Junior JRYAN. So J Ryan Rocks. Is that how you say it? Anyway, do you know Steubenville? Are you from Steubenville? Let me know. Let's see. John said, nice tip for that linear gradient. Cool. Yeah, I can't remember where I learned that. If I did remember, I'd definitely give credit to where I learned that from. I think it was a blog somewhere. Maybe it was CSS Tricks. I can't remember for sure. Yeah, but it's like such an easy way to put a gradient on. I remember trying to put like divs inside of divs to do gradients, and it's like, no, this is so simple. All right. Gradient variable as well. Okay, Jeff says you can make the gradient variable as well. Yeah, we could make a prop for a gradient. So I did have to stop myself. I was going crazy with all the props to customize it, and I just had to stop and say, like, honestly, we're using this component once as of right now. Do I really need to make all these props? So we can. I'll probably need to add props as we go on, but no sense in trying to like think of everything we possibly could need right off the bat. Jeff says, I think there needs to be more space between faith and life and the search icon. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this got messed up somewhere along the line, and I'm not sure what I did. But I don't think it was always like this, but it's it needs changed. J. Ryan Rock says, when you get that color straightened out, you can sell it to Slack and make a zillion bucks. They need to fix the color of the highlights so that the dark background themes work. Okay. All right. So let's get into some code. What can we do? You know what? Let's put in this section here. We're gonna make a component called text section, and so primarily it's gonna take as props a link in case there needs to be a button, and then a block of text. That for right off the bat, we need those two props. We might be able to think of some other props that we'll need, but this will be a section that I'm sure will be repeated in various places. So let's make that component, and then we'll put that component in there and have that kind of intermediate section. You know what? Let's take 4 props right off the bat. Let's do the 2 I just said, text and then a link. The link will be optional. If we don't have a link, we won't render a button. And actually, if we're going to have a link, then we need to have link text. So we'll have 3. And then we're going to add a background color and a font color. So we're going to have 5 props. And that should be enough to have some nice customization. The only other thing I could think of right now is a title. Maybe we should just add a title prop in. Yeah. So we're going to end up with 6 props. So we're going to make a component. We're going to have those 6 props. And then we're going to have the section in. And then it'll be really easy for us to just add in sections wherever in any pages we want. So we're kind of making some building blocks to build out some really good looking pages quickly. We can now make hero sections quickly, and then we're about to be able to make text sections quickly. And then we can move pretty fast and build out some pages for these presentations. There was another question, and I can answer this why I'm doing that. So someone asked what kind of music I listen to. Peter asked what kind of music I listen to. Right now I'm listening to my top songs of 2016 playlist on Spotify, which is a mix of a lot of dubstep and the Creed soundtrack. So from, you know, the Rocky movie, right? Creed soundtrack, and then acoustic covers of songs. So yeah, that's a lot of what it is. And then yeah, I'd say that covers probably like 90% of what's on this playlist right now. I really listen to pretty much anything. The only thing that I consistently don't like is country music. Everything else I will listen to. It depends on the mood I'm on, or mood I'm in. Alright, so we need a new component. So let's start out with a blank file. New file, and we're going to call this text section. And let's grab this hero component just to give us the base. Now I'm starting out all my components as class components. We can go back later and refactor into stateless functional components if that's what we want. But I find it easier to go from a class to stateless than to go from stateless to a class. So that's why I'm starting out with the classes, even though it might be overkill for a lot of the components that we're making. Alright, so what are we going to need? We're definitely going to need typography. We're going to keep this inverted button. And the grid. Alright, cool. So we have a lot of what we need already. We can get rid of... Let's see, hero button, inverted button. Let's keep these styles for now because I think we can reuse some of them with just a little bit of editing, so that'll save us some time. Let's get rid of a lot of this, and then let's type out all the props that we know we're going to need here. So we're doing some destructuring here so that we don't have to keep typing this props, but this will be a nice list so that we don't forget what props we want. So as I said, we're going to have title. Text. Actually, let's make this section title. Text. I wanted to make it section title because title is actually an attribute that you can put on some elements, so I don't like to have the same names so that no one gets confused when they're looking at things. So we have the text. We will have a button link, button text, and color. Let's say text color, and background color. Is that all we have? I think that's it. Alright, cool. So we have these. Now let's go in here and we can get rid of pretty much all these constants. you can see in this component I made all these constants because a lot of these are they're contingent upon whether or not a prop is there. So it's just a lot cleaner when we pull these out into their own constants. So that we can say, you can easily see, like, if title text is there, make a title. If the subtitle is there, make a subtitle, right? If the primary button text, secondary button text, or tertiary button text is present, then let's start rendering this grid that contains buttons, right? For the buttons, I like to do both button text and link. So if there's not text and a link, we don't render. It has to have both, right? No sense having a button that links somewhere but no text, or the other way around. So anyway, that's kind of a nice, like an easy way to clean up your components without actually having to make a lot of other components and link them up. Alright, so anyway, let me get rid of these. And I used the word tertiary for the third button. Is that word well known enough that it's okay? Like, does everybody know what tertiary is? I know you don't use that word often, but I mean, it was the correct word. Like, if we were using like primary, secondary, it's definitely the correct one. But I was a little bit nervous that people wouldn't necessarily know, especially like maybe if English is not your first language. Maybe even if English is your first language, nobody uses that word anymore. Anyway, let me know if you think that'll be an issue, because I do want this code to be like readable. Okay, now we can take out pretty much all of this. Let's go with, yeah, let's take out this first. And yeah, we definitely want this out of here. We can leave the div, because we're going to need a div. And div, class name, parallax. I wonder if we can just make this a grid. So we need that grid container, right? Grid, and then at the top grid we make a container, don't we? Container. N-E-R. There we are. Grid container, and then we're gonna have a grid. I think how we should do this. I don't like to center things, but I'm almost positive I'm going to get asked to center it. Let's just not center this and then see if I can get by without centering this. So I think I do want to make this first section just a div. And then the div's going to be full width. So hopefully, all right, center, justify. Actually, I like these. I don't want a min height right now. We don't need anything with this background stuff. We don't need that. I'm not going to center this, at least not yet. And let's see, leave these buttons for now. So I'm not going to worry about the grid components yet. I'm just going to throw in some normal components. Typography. What do we use here? Oh, I need to go back to the hero. Let's move our hero section over here so I can see what typography I used here. Alright, we used the display 2 up there. Alright, we can try that. Typography, type, display 2. And yeah, let's go. Got our bottom. Let's go with that. And then we're gonna put in here, oops, what did I say it was? Section title. Section title goes in there, and then we can close out our typography tag. All right, and then let's grab this as well, and let's put text here, and we're going to display that as, what's the normal setting for text? I should just look up. So like I don't have these docs open. Typography. There we are. Where's the type? Children classes, color, heading, variant. Oh, okay, now it's variant. We didn't update to this one yet. So where it says variant, we're going to use type. But just so you know, if you get the latest version, use variant instead. We're going to have to update everything at some point. But I don't want to do it right now because I got to focus on getting things ready for this presentation. Body, okay, that's what we need. Let's just use body 1 then. See how it goes. Body 1. Cool. Alright, so we have this, typography. Let's add in buttons. What do you have, buttons? Yeah, let's just add in, let's grab this, put it in here, and we'll change it. We'll just call it button. And we're going to change this to button link. And we're going to change this to button text. Okay, we're going to have to pull in inverted button. Oh, we already have it. Cool. Alright, so we have that. Now down here, we can just render button. And we're going to conditionally render these, but right now I'm not worried about that. I just want to make sure it works first before we do all the conditional stuff. That way if something doesn't work, it's going to be a lot easier to figure out why it's not working. Okay, one more? No, that's it, right? That's all we need for now. We can put in the text color and background color, so let's do that. Color. Text color, background color. I guess I don't really care. I don't need that right now, but I don't want to get an error because I haven't used those. So let's just go and say, for now, text color. Background color. Now it's just not going to give me an error when I try to do this. And why am I getting an error here? Oh, I have them outside the div. There we go. We never changed the name of this component, so it's not hero. It is text section. And I forgot to set my timer. Sorry about that. So it's definitely time for me to take a break. So let's do that. Where's my index.js? Yeah, I'm just gonna bring this up so I don't forget where we are. But when I'm gonna take a 5-minute break. I'm gonna answer some questions. When we come back to the code, I'm going to import this component that we just made, put some props in, see how it looks. Then we can adjust styles and everything like that. For now, I am going to remember my timer this time. We'll do a short break. And I'm going to start at the top of the chat and just scroll down and try to get to all the comments and questions. All right, Grim asked about the media query for the small screen size. Yeah, so we, for media queries, we are using, where is it at? I just deleted a media query from something, so I don't know if we're using it anymore. There's a way to do media queries within Material UI. CSS and JS. So we have these breakpoints, so you can go and put theme breakpoint, and this is up. So on any screens, medium and up, the background color changes to red in this case. So for the root component, it's blue normally. On medium and up, it's red. So that's how we're going to do it. So we'll just do theme breakpoints down, and then we'll put small in here, and then we'll be able to change for small screens. So what we'll probably end up doing for the app bar is, I think right now I'm directly putting the image in. What we may end up doing is making the image a background image so that we can control it right from these styles and use breakpoints. And I think that's going to end up being the easiest way to do it. And for, by image, I mean I'm talking about switching out this image for small screens. Saad says, for design and layout ideas, you should check universities' websites. These will give you some good ideas about your website. Yeah, I do check out university sites from time to time. I'm a little bit torn. So I want there to be some familiarity so that when users come to the site, they understand what's going on. But I also want to make this unique. You know, I mean, it's my design and development, not just me. You all help a lot. But like, we're working on this, and I want it to be unique. I want it to break the mold a little about what university sites, you know, are doing. So I'm trying to balance that. So I've actually, what I do get inspiration for is for small details from the way other sites do things. So like we looked at, for our list component, we looked at the newsstand app that's made by Google, and we looked at one piece of that newsstand app and got some ideas for how to display our content. So I like doing that more than like in terms of like a whole layout. I don't know. I find like your site looks more unique in that way. I don't know, but if anybody sees a really cool university site or other site that you think would be good inspiration for something we're doing here, let me know, because I'll definitely check it out and see. if it's something we could use for this project or even a different one. AMR is the name, so I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but last name is Hossam. So it says, hey, wish me luck in my quiz tomorrow. Good luck. I hope you do well in your quiz. Let us know next week how you do on your quiz. Let's see. J. Ryan Rock says, tertiary means mixed from two other things, right? In colors, so I assume it's like one generation removed otherwise. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about colors for tertiary, but I was thinking more of like primary being like first, secondary second, tertiary third. So I guess I could have gone like first button, second button, third button. That would have been maybe that would have been easier, I guess. I kind of wanted like primary button, and then there was going to be two secondary buttons. So I thought about doing secondary 1 and secondary 2. That might actually make more sense than tertiary. Maybe I'm just making a big deal about nothing. Yeah. Maybe I'll change it. Let's see. I think I got everything, all the questions, almost all of them. Oh, Nikki says, for stateless to class, select the function and Control-Shift-P to select React Pure to state. It's a plugin. Oh, cool. You know what? I totally forgot about that. So in the React Food Truck plugin, which I do have for Visual Studio Code, they do have a plugin for switching from stateless functional components to stateful component, like class-based, and it just automatically does it for you. Forgot about that. Now that you say it, like that was one of the coolest features of the React Food Truck when I decided to download it, and I haven't even used it. Alright. Anna has a question about where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm going to think about that while we do this code, and then Anna, when we come back after this next coding session, that'll be the first question that I answer. All right. So we do 25 minutes. May not take the whole 25 minutes. We'll see how long this takes to do what we're doing. I do want to make sure I have time at the end for questions, and that I do have time to pick up my kids. Don't want to leave them at school, right? Okay. All right, yeah, here's what we're doing. So let's go here. Whoops, that's not a component. Let me copy this. Paste. And we're going to go, what do we call that? Text section. Text section, and then down here, right after our hero section, we're going to put our text section here. Whoops. Text section, and we need our props. So let's scroll down and make sure we get all the props. So let's try section title, and the section title is going to be let's call it mission. And text will for now be, or maybe some, I need more than that. Why isn't it in Atom I had an automatic like lorem ipsum generator. It's alright, I'm not worried about it now. I just want to make sure it all renders. Text for the button link. Whoops. Button link. We're just gonna make it go here, so at least we'll have something. It will render button text. Learn more. It's pretty standard, and that's all we should need. Let's see. Hopefully we don't get some sort of error when they try to render this stuff. We'll see how it goes. Hero is not defined. Where am I using hero at? 72? Oh, I forgot here. Text section. Huh. Oh, that's where it went. So I tried to use multiple cursors to change this, not realizing that I had that text in here as well. So I thought it selected this text, but it didn't. Yay, it worked. Okay, cool. So we have a section. It says mission. We got our lorem ipsum text, and then we have our learn more button, which you can't really see because the colors are off. But not bad. Cool. Definitely need some styling now. Let's see. So let's get to styling. Let's change this class from parallax to section. And we're going to add to this. So let's do some padding. Yeah, we're going to do padding, and I want let's say let's try 32 pixels of padding and 0 on the sides. Just try it out. And for our button colors, let's give it, yeah, let's switch it up, and let's do 21412A. Cool. All right, let's see how this looks. All right, nice. Yeah, nice. That's a nice amount of padding. Maybe you might want more, but for right now, I like that. Let's put on this section. We do have a gutter bottom on here too. Why isn't it showing it? Let's see. So we have a margin bottom. We should have. Interesting. I'm not going to adjust this until we get more text in there, because I need to see it in the context, like of what it will likely be in. And we do have everything centered right now, which I didn't want it centered, but I guess I missed some class somewhere. Oh, I did. Align item center, justify content, start. Let's try start. No, gotta flip it around. Is it this one? There we are. Okay. So depending on like where your axis is for flex, these could be flipped around. Center. Okay. Probably don't need to justify content center since we have the padding at the top and bottom. But I'm going to leave it in there instead in case we change it. At this point, we want to set probably a max. So we have this container. Whoops, we don't need container on there. So we need this container to be 100% width because if we put in a background color, we need that. Actually, let's put in a background color just so that we can see exactly where everything is. Let's see. Background color. And let's say purple. Yay, how beautiful. All right. So if I don't want it to be centered, then I need a container component. So let's put this in here. I guess I could use the grid container here and see what it does. Let's try it out. Maybe the grid container already has some built-in stuff. If it doesn't, we'll just throw in our own and then set it to like a percentage width. What just happened? That's okay. So I guess since I didn't have this in the grid, I'm not I'm not getting anything happening. Grid item. Oh, okay. So the hero button stuff is centering. All right. Let's see what happens now. All right. Now it goes over. So weird. All right. Let's just switch this up. Instead of a grid, I'm just gonna make a div for now, and instead of container, let's just call this inner container. And let's set width max width is going to be 70. Whoops, 70%. Oh, shoot. Should I use margin 0 auto, or is there a flexbox thing that I should use? What are we going to say? Justify content? Or what did we say it was? Nah, this will work. Let's just do that. I see some activity there in the live chat, so I will check that out in just a second. Container margin 0 auto, and this is just to center that container. Actually, let's not do. Let's just do width 70. Okay. So that's going to give us our offset there. Okay. All right, not bad. Let me grab the correct text so we can see what that looks like. When I say not bad, I don't mean like it's perfect. I just mean we're getting there. Alright. About mission. I really hope that the mission is on the website. Like the short version that I want. There we are. Great. Alright, so I was just grabbing it on my other screen, and let me put in, whoops, so the text here. Let's change this, and whoops. I like to just use template literal sometimes. That way, no matter what, as long as it's going to let me do that, no matter what is in the text that we would put in here, whether it's single or double quotes, it doesn't matter. It's not going to mess anything up. So on the current website, the title of this section is Mission Summary. I don't know that I really want to keep that title, but that's what we'll do for now. Usually questions about like content like that, I just defer to my boss. And what? This is not gonna let me do that. Oh, no. You seriously not gonna let me use template literals? Alright, fine. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I can't use them in there. Oh, I can't use them because that's not Java. Never mind. Never mind. Alright, so first thing that we notice that's off, this text is way too small, especially compared to this text. Even with more text, this still needs to be have a bigger space. So let's change this to, let's try body 2 and see if it makes it bigger. No, it just makes it, what is that? Alright, let's stick with body 1, but then let's give this a class name. Oops, classes. section text. And let's make the font size 16 pixels and font weight 400 and line height 1.5. Can I do that? I think I can do that. Really? Did that? There's no way that's 16. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Yeah. Where are we getting this? Typography, class. Oops. I'm making lots of tiny mistakes here. Alright, looks like I'm getting a call. So let me take this. Hello? Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't get your email, so I don't know what happened with that. But anyway, sorry about that. Otherwise, I would have get back to you right away. Yeah, I need to make sure I check that folder more frequently. So you can either, there's a form on the bulletin on the actual website to submit a new bulletin announcement. So you can send it through there if you want, or you can just send an email to bulletin@franciscan.edu. Every Monday morning. This week. Yeah, I think the cutoff is earlier today was the cutoff. Yeah, you could still give it a shot and see. Occasionally, if something's like an emergency, it does get in, but I can't guarantee anything. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah. All right, sorry about that. Good thing I announced earlier that there would probably be interruptions. That was so in the interest of just sharing with you what my day is like as a front-end developer, I'm going to summarize that call, leaving out anyone's name. Someone called and asked for information that is very much available on the bulletin website. Asked how to submit something to the bulletin. Well, we have there in the bulletin several buttons to be able to submit, and when you click it, it has instructions for the deadline of submitting. So this person, number one, called and said, I emailed you yesterday and you didn't get back to me, so I'm going to call you. I never received an email from that person. So I let them know, obviously, as you heard, that I didn't receive the email, right? Then they complained about the email system. Then I let them know, obviously, how they can submit to the bulletin. And then they said, when does bulletin come out? Mondays. So, oh, it's probably too late. well, yeah, it's too late. He said, oh, well, that's no use to me. And then you heard me say, well, it's worth a shot. You can turn it in. And I said, oh, well, you know, no problem. And their response, I think the last thing they said was, well, this turned out to be no use to me. Bye. So that's I don't want to say that's a common response, but it's definitely not the first time I've had a call or an email like that. I don't know what's up here, but I'm sure it's not only this organization that happens in, but there are a group of people that have certain traits in common on campus that I don't understand. If you talk to them face to face, they're a lot nicer, but via email or the phone, they just treat you like you're not really a person. I don't know. Anyway, obviously I'm not upset by it, but just wanted to share that with you, that sometimes you have stuff like that. So we're in the middle of developing a new site, and I get a call just explaining information that we've already explained in emails and announcements and everything. Alright, so here's what I want to happen. I want the font size to be 16. Wonderful. And now it's 16. Does that look like it's still too small? Should we make it 18? Let me check the time too. Okay. I definitely gotta hurry up here so I can pick my kids up. I like 18 better. Let me know what you think. I think 18 works much better. And let's add in, you know, I'm not going to add any padding to the bottom of this, because if we don't have stuff for the button, it's not going to render. And then I don't want to throw off the alignment, the vertical alignment, by adding padding. So we're going to add padding on the top of this button, and we're going to leave this alone. But let's change this to 18 pixels. And it's really odd, but people have been freaking out way more than I thought they would about font sizes being larger. I don't know why, but larger fonts are a good thing. It's easier to read. You would think people would understand that. But like within a certain age bracket of people, they're always like, why is the font so big? Like, so people can read it. Why would we not want people to read it? Anyway, let's do that last thing that we talked about with the inverted button. Where are they at? The grid. Alright, so our hero button, that's where we're going to put. So let's go with margin top, and we should give it, let's try 8 pixels. Might need to jump up a bit from there. 8 might be too small. Does that work? Yeah, I can't even tell if anything happens, so 8's definitely too small. Let's jump to 16. There we go. Alright, that's much more reasonable. I like that. Nice. Okay, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to finish this component, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is just make these all conditional. So I'll do one just to give you an example, and then I'm just going to repeat that for everything else. So for the button, I'm going to say if we get button link, so button link and button text, then we will render button. Otherwise, we're going to render nothing. We're going to do null. And why is my button? Oh, I need a space there. Okay. So that's what we're going to do, and then that way So you can see we have a button now, but if I remove even one of these, so let's just take out the button link and save it. See, it doesn't render. So we have to have both to get a button to render. Okay. So I'm going to commit this now so you all can see it in GitHub. And just in case I need to work on the weekend or something happens next week and I can't come in on Monday, I have everything. Even though it's not quite finished. Let's do a git status and git add and erncm. And we add a new feature. Let's see, create text section. You ever look at a word and it looks like it's misspelled, but it's not, and it's a word you spell all the time? That's what I just did when I looked at component. Okay, let's run everything. I did have to change one of the tests earlier. So when I changed the logo, we had some unit testing on that component, that @bar component, and it was checking to see that the file name of the logo was correct. So I failed the test. So if you are doing any work on any of these repos, keep that in mind to check the tests. I mean, you'll get an error. It'll be pretty easy to tell what happened because the errors are descriptive enough. But sorry, I'm trying to find this password and talk at the same time. So the errors are descriptive enough, but that's where it might be. And we do have two folders for tests. So we have our unit tests in this folder up here, this underscore test underscore, and then our end-to-end tests are in the E2E test folder. All right, so if you wanted to test an entire page, do the end-to-end test. If it's just a component, you do the unit test here. All right, so let's put that in. There we are. Now it should work. Do the SSH add so I don't have to worry about typing that in again. Okay, now I'm going to answer as many questions as I can before 2:30. It is 2:18 p.m. my time. So let's see how far I can go here. And where did I leave off at? I know I left off. Anna asked a question about where do I see myself in 5 years, and I promised to answer that first. So let's do that. So in 5 years, wow, 5 years, okay. 10, 11, 12, 13. In 5 years, I will have a teenager. And that's crazy. And it will be, wow, 2023. I'll be 37. Wow, I'll be 37. Crazy. In 5 years, my beard might be a lot more gray. So depending on what the style is, maybe I'll do like that dyeing my hair silver thing that people are doing now. But as far as work goes, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll still be here. Maybe I won't. Actually, I'm going to let you in on something that I haven't told very many people. I have a job interview for a company in Pittsburgh next week. Somebody at that company found my stuff on Stack Overflow and checked me out online and wanted to set up a meeting. So I had a phone call. I'm going to have to finish a coding puzzle this weekend and submit that, and then I'm going to go in and meet their team. So my job would be full stack engineer if I get this position. So I don't know where I'll be in 5 years. I like it. I love the people here in my department. So it would be hard. When I asked my kids about it, about what I should do, my son, who's 8 years old, said, "You shouldn't take the new job." And I asked him why. He said, "Because you like going to work and seeing your friends." So it's like, I like the people, but I can't count on the people being here forever either. So if I stayed for that and then they all got different jobs, where would I be? So anyway, that's a possibility. Yeah. Odds are I'll still be somewhere in this area, like geographically, because I still have my parents and my grandparents live here, and I want my kids to grow up knowing their great grandparents and their grandparents. So that's gonna be there. I would really like though to be speaking at more conferences, and I'd like to be doing more of this. I know this is all volunteer right now. It's probably not ever going to be like a career for me, but I really do like doing this, and I like helping people learn more about coding. So hopefully I can do more. I mean, maybe branch out and do some more videos, or who knows. But if in 5 years I'm still sitting here or in some similar office talking to you all, I'll be very happy. So hopefully that was a decent answer. Also, I'm gonna be huge in 5 years, like bodybuilder huge. Like, I've been working out in my basement, and I don't keep track of how much weight I lift, but it seems impressive to my kids. My kids think I'm really strong, so don't tell them otherwise if you ever get a chance to see them. Just let them think that for now. All right, thanks for that question, Anna. That was actually kind of fun. I've never really thought about that until you asked it, so I think that was a good question for me. Let's see. Oh, Nikki says there is that lorem ipsum generator that like works inside your editor. Only works between JSX tag, not inside props. That makes sense. I guess I could do it elsewhere and then just copy and paste it in really quick. John Hansen says, does this project use code splitting, or will it use code splitting? Import for these large components you've got on the go. That would be cool. That would probably be a feature that may or may not make it in before we launch, depending on what date gets set for me to launch. Which, just as an aside, it's kind of silly that the launch date is now being set by people who haven't even seen the website, who don't do any work with websites. Don't you think? I don't know. I mean, I don't know everything about the organization. I'm sure there's a lot of things going on I don't know about that they're taking into consideration, but how can you set a launch date for a product without ever even seeing the product or knowing how close it actually is to launching? Anyway, hopefully after these meetings, we'll all be on the same page and we can get a launch date in. But anyway, a little bit off topic of the question. But anyway, John, I haven't done a lot with code splitting. I think it's a great idea, and I'd love to put it in this project at some point. Let's see. John Hansen said, asymmetry in web design takes guts. We've been programmed way before the web and computers to expect symmetrical balance. Everybody's like that, but like let's make it a bit bigger just to see, because on mobile you can't really tell. But I'll just make this full screen, right? We have this full screen. Other than like the weird purple color, which is throwing everything off right now, I don't think that that's that weird to have this off center a little bit. Like, I like that. Like, to be honest with you, I kind of want to see if I can do it right here in the hero section and just have it off center. Like, that, everybody does this, right? I'm going to maybe try to do it like that and see. People are going to freak out, but I just want to see what it looks like. I don't know. I think that would be cool. I actually did that for a site I made for a client before. Is I had hero sections with titles, but the titles were like, I think they were either down here or up here or something. So I did not have them centered. They were over here. They had just a slight margin. And what's nice about that is that you can clearly see the title. It's in that, what do they say, that F zone that everybody looks at. And then you can clearly see the image as well. I don't know. We'll see. I know I'll get pushback from that, but you got to try to push stuff, right? If you just make the same website over and over again, like it's boring. And I don't know. You're like potentially depriving your users of something that's a better user experience or looks nicer. Or, you got to try different things. That's the way I feel, at least. Nikki says using the golden ratio makes that bit of asymmetry look better. The golden ratio is super interesting. Oh yeah, you know what? You're right, Nikki. Maybe I'm gonna have to read up more on that and how I can apply it in here. I imagine it's a little bit tricky since we're gonna have different screen sizes, but we should be able to get it to work with percentage widths. Hey, Quincy was in here. I don't know if Quincy's still here, but if you are, how's it going, Quincy? Thanks for watching. But Quincy says, watching Jesse Code plus listening to Free Code Camp Radio at the same time. Oh, that's awesome. So if you haven't listened to it yet, Free Code Camp has this radio station going, like, I think the goal is 24/7. So I don't know if we're there yet, but it's pretty much every time I've checked, it's been playing. So check it out. It has music from campers, from Free Code campers, and it's cool. So you check it out and go in the chat with people. There's always been at least 20 people every time I've been in there. So it's pretty fun. Let's see. I see some more people saying hello. Hey, how's it going? I'm gonna have to go really soon. I'm really glad that I committed that and pushed it, so I don't have to worry about it now. Let's see. Raphael asks, what do you use for user management in React? We really haven't done anything with user management in React, so I can't really say. We haven't had a project that needed that. The closest we came is we have a project that isn't it isn't live yet. It's still in development, and we've had implemented like a passwordless login system, but we've tested it, it works, but we've done nothing in terms of using that information for anything other than just logging people in. So I guess I don't really have a great answer for that. I apologize. Ines said, "Do not be upset." That was when I was talking about that phone call. Yeah, I'm not upset. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Calls like that, I mean, they don't make you feel good, right? Anytime anybody is not polite, you don't feel good, but it didn't get me down. Like, I'm not, it's not going to stay with me for a long time. I mean, it kind of depends. Like, you all know I battle depression. If I happen to be really depressed right now, something like that would probably seem a lot more, terrible to me right now. But I'm feeling pretty good. Talking with you all helps me feel a lot better. So it actually happened at a great time because I was able to bounce right back and talk to you all. So I'll be all right. All right, looks like the size 18 font you all think is better. So awesome. I'm definitely with you on that. J. Ryan Rock says, "The Berg, unlimited permane sandwiches." Yeah, if you've never been to Pittsburgh, Permane Brothers restaurants have these sandwiches that have like French fries on them, and it's like a Pittsburgh thing, I guess. They're really good. Oh, Quincy said, "Awesome, good luck with the interview." Thank you, I appreciate that. All right. Tiffany White says, "Hey, I'm in the Berg." Oh, awesome, Tiffany. That's cool. I always think, like, if I'm going to be in an area, I should definitely let you all know first. And then if anybody wants to, like, have a little meetup, that would be cool. So maybe I'll have to do a better job of remembering that anytime I travel or anything. But I'm actually not that far away from Pittsburgh. Like, I can get to the airport in like 35 minutes, like not speeding or anything, just going the regular speed. So anything on the western side of Pittsburgh is less than an hour for me to get to, and then like the other side of Pittsburgh, the eastern side, takes me a little longer. But if there's ever any meetups or anything going on in Pittsburgh that you all know about, let me know. If I can, I'd love to make it. J. Ryan Rocks got timed out for the bot for using caps. Also said good luck. Thanks, I appreciate it. Einbishin says good luck. Awesome. Quincy said, "When we eventually get a chance to meet up in person, I'd definitely like to hit the weights with you." Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. I have a feeling you definitely can lift more than me. I just started getting back into it a month ago. So this has been a month and it's like on Monday it was 4 weeks. I've worked out every single day for the last 4 weeks. So cardio every day, and then I don't always lift, but I've only like some days I just do like an ab workout, so I don't really do weights, but I usually get in weights like 4 times a week. So anyway, I'm excited about that. Ambition asks, "Can you get into specifics about telling what the puzzle is about?" Yeah, the puzzle is I need to set up. I can use any language I want, but I need to make a program where it makes some type of data structure that represents a seating area. So a certain amount of rows and columns of seats, of chairs, and then it needs to be able to, I can give it numbers of seats that I want, and it can reserve those seats, and then I could give it just like a number. So I could say, okay, I want 5 seats altogether, and it can find the best 5 seats that are available and reserve that. So assuming that the front row center is the best, it'll use like what is it called? Manhattan something? I can't remember. Manhattan distance or something to determine where the seats are. So I have everything done up to the point where you give it a number and it gives you the seats. So right now it's all command line, so it just asks you questions on the command line and you type the answers back. But if I have time, I'd really like to build a front end to it, because I think it's not part of the instructions. But honestly, if I was going to build that to be useful to more people, it would be better if it had a front end that was a web app than just being a command line tool, because most people don't use the command line, right? So anyway, we'll see. See how that goes. But that's basically what, I mean, it's not super complicated when you break it down into like the parts. So hopefully I can get it finished up, tomorrow morning, and then that's really all the time I have to do anything this weekend with it is tomorrow morning. Let's see what time it is. Okay, my kid's school is actually just let out right now, so all right. I'm really sorry that I'm not going to be able to get to all the questions. So if you have a question that I didn't get to, please put it in the comments to this video or send me a message on Twitter or Instagram or something, and I'll answer your question. But I have to go now because my kid's school is out, and I have to go pick them up. So have a wonderful day, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll be back on Monday, and I really appreciate all the help and have some really good questions as well. And let's see. I'm trying to find the off button. Sorry. Yeah, so I'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.